So let's start the session. So we have few people in Facebook Live and a few people in Zoom. So let's start the session. Good morning, everyone. Very warm welcome to our 101 session, technical forum session. Today's session is on data visualization. Sreelesh is going to take the session today. So all the best and happy learning. Thank you. Sreelesh, you are the host. You may start sharing.
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen. I hope all of you can see my screen and it's just like a presentation.
Yes.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. So today we will just have a 1.5 hour session to create a dashboard or a report in Power BI. So before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Sreenivasan, and I work as a business analytics manager in KKWin Solutions. And I do have more than 12 years of experience in this analytics field. And the agenda or what we will achieve today, I will just introduce what is Power BI. Okay, because many of you doesn't know what is Power BI. So I will just introduce about that. Then I will introduce about what is the Power BI workflow. Then we will do a real demo case based on the COVID-19 data. Then I will share some of the data visualization best practices. So how you can implement that in your real life. Then some of the resources and also the steps. Okay. If you want to take this forward, what all the things you need to take care, or what all things you need to follow it. Some of the resources I will provide it. Let's get started. So before starting that, let me give you a brief, what do you call it as some of the things which I thought of sharing it. One thing is that in 1.5 hour, we cannot share everything about the Power BI or data visualization. So what we can share, okay, so we have choose some of the topics to accommodate due to this time pressure. And some of the features, if you already know that, we might not be covering everything inside this. So what we can cover, we have accommodated in this. And if you have any questions specific to any features, any specific questions, pause the sessions. I'm open to answer those questions. So the first question, what is Power BI? Power BI is the business analytics tool, or it's purely for the business intelligence or the data visualization tool. And as you already knows that, this is from the Microsoft family. So because of that, it's very user friendly. And if you're already familiarized with the Microsoft Office tool, something like Excel, PowerPoint, Word, you will see a lot of similarities in terms of the toolbars and the tabs they have arranged it. And the below picture, if you see it, okay, so what it means, it can actually read or import data from many data sources, and it can easily create some of the visualization. Visualization means if you are into data analytics, we do a lot of analysis, right? And the analysis are not made for us. That is for the management people, or actually they're into the business. So they should be able to understand the analysis of what we are trying to communicate. Instead of sharing in a simple spreadsheet with a lot of rows and columns, they will be able to easily understand if we create a meaningful chart. So interpreting the chart is much easier than interpreting a long spreadsheet. That's the whole purpose, making it simple for the decision making. Then why Power BI? Because there are many business intelligence tools available in the market. So why we have chosen Power BI? Power BI is the leader in data visualization and the business intelligence area. So according to the Gartner, because they are the agency, they do this consistent study to evaluate the market and who is doing well and who is doing not pretty well. So they will consistently conduct that study. And as per them, Power BI is the leader in the data visualization and the business intelligence area. Over 97% of the Fortune 500 use Power BI. That means if you learn Power BI, getting a job is pretty easy. Or if you're already working and if you learn Power BI, switching your job will be much more easier, because 97% of the Fortune 500 companies use Power BI. And if we see the overall customers, Power BI has more than 6 million users. And the one key factor about Power BI, it enables everyone at every level of your organization to make confident decisions using up to the minute analytics. If you have the data ready to draw some conclusions, you just need minutes if you have the basic foundations in Power BI. That is the power of Power BI. This is the Gartner report. And if you see in the leader, Microsoft, nothing but the Power BI, and followed by the Tableau and the Click. So these are the market leaders in the business intelligence area. And Microsoft is way ahead of Tableau, even though Tableau is second. Okay, so this is just to show you a visual representation where the Microsoft Power BI stands in the overall market. And if you have any questions, you can type in the message boxes, or you can unmute yourself and ask, okay? Or you can note it down, and in end of the session, you can ask, okay? In either way, it's fine for me. When we talk about the Power BI, there are various components inside Power BI. One is called Power BI Desktop, and another one is a Power BI service. I will explain what is the difference between these two. Power BI Desktop is the desktop version where we can install in our local machine. And it includes the powerful data transformation or the ETL tools like Power Query Editor. You can read data from multiple sources and you can transform the data you wanted to keep it. Then you can load for the further modeling. And also it has the data analysis and the report creation tool. And it's 100% free. You can install it in your local machine. It doesn't ask any license or something. It's 100% free. Then the Power BI service. That's actually a cloud version of Power BI Desktop. And it has light report editing capabilities. It doesn't have all the features what it contains in the Power BI Desktop. It has the light reporting editing features. Main purpose of using Power BI service, it's to share and distribute the report across your organization. In a normal scenario, the reports or the analysis is made in Power BI Desktop, then that will be published to the cloud Power BI services. Then we can share it with multiple people. Okay, if I have 10 users, I can share that report with 10 users and they can consume that report using the Power BI services. It's a cloud version. Then I will talk about, if you doesn't have idea about what is data analytics, I'm not going to the data analytics, but I will tell you in an organization how a data analytics project works. This doesn't include the machine learning projects. I'm just generally talking about the business analytics or the data visualization projects. In a company, all the projects, all the work, all the tasks, especially related to the analytics, it starts with the business question. Why my sales is pretty lower? Why my product is not doing good? Why my company's attrition rate is pretty high compared to the market standards? So it all starts with a business question. Then, and it comes from the management or from the senior stakeholders. And as a data analyst, we have to get the data to address that business questions. Data might be internal or external, so we have to collect it from the various sources. It might be a spreadsheet, or we need to collect it from SQL Server, or it will be in any ERP system, or it can be any other Microsoft workflows or ticketing tools, or it can be an external data as well. The next step in that is to get the data, relevant data, to do that particular, to address that particular business problem. Then it will go to the explore data. Once we got the data, it's really important as a data analyst, understand the data what we have received. What all columns are there? Is there any missing value? Is there any null values? Or is there any errors in the data? Or is it complete or incomplete? When we do the exploration, it's called data profiling or the data quality checks. When we do that, then only we will come to know the quality of the data we have received. If our data is not good enough to make a report, if the quality is not good, it's same like garbage in, garbage out. You cannot produce quality reports with incomplete data. So it's really important you are identifying all those issues in your data in this exploration stage. Then it will go to the preparation stage. Preparing data means it includes data cleaning. Okay, some of the anomaly detection. There are various things which we find it out. For a simple example, if we have names of our employees and if that names are inconsistent, it's really important to clean that. And also, we have received a data for 10 years. Actually, we need to do analysis only for 1 year. So we don't have to import or we don't have to load the entire data to our model. While preparing, we need to identify which all columns we need to use it, which all rows we need to use it, or the data set. We are just reducing that data set because when we receive it, it might be overall data what we not required for this. So it's better to identify all these in this data preparation stage, and we are identifying the columns and rows and the cleaning activity which we need to do to make that data it's close to perfect. Then we can produce quality outputs from that data. And the next stage is analyzing the data. Okay, what all things are there? What are anomalies? Few statistics, what is good, bad? And we are just analyzing some of the data set. And in that, the final stage is to present findings. The findings presenting to the business is used in various ways, depends on the various companies. Some of them use R scripts and they create notebooks. Some of them create PowerPoint presentations. Some of them use a simple spreadsheet, Excel kind of tools. Some of them use Python. Some of them uses Alteryx. There are various tools you can produce the final output. And also in this, today, we are going to use Power BI. This entire process, we can take care in the Power BI. That is the beauty of Power BI. We can read data from multiple sources. We can clean our data. We can explore our data. Then we can make the analysis and we can present the final findings to our stakeholders. End of the day, management will ask the business question, the problems they want to solve it. And they actually don't know what is happening under the hood. We are collecting the data, exploring it, preparing it, a lot of things. Only the final presentation, they will see it. What is the result? Before that, they don't see it. For example, if you are creating a complex data transformation steps, heavy things doing it, they don't even know that. Only thing, they see the final output. It can be anything, Power BI, Tableau, or ClickSense, any tools we can use it. So it's really important, the final output what we are producing, it should be neat and clean, and it should be really simple. Any users can consume it. I hope you have understood the normal data analytics workflow. Next, we will go to a small demo. Okay, so in this, what I will do, using Power BI, I will show all the steps previously I have explained. And I will use the COVID-19 dataset, which is downloaded from the World Health Organization website. End of that, just a moment, let me stop the presentation here. I think I'm not sure which screen you are seeing it now. Are you seeing a Power BI dashboard kind of thing now with charts and graphs?
Yes.
Okay. So this is something which we are going to achieve it. Okay, we will start from a normal Excel sheet and how we can transform to a meaningful report like this. Okay, in Power BI. Let us get started. Okay, this is our input data. I will just show you. This is a CSV file which contains more than 200 plus country data, the COVID impact right from the beginning. It started in somewhere in January 2020, right? And it's increased. So right from that day to till 30th September 2021. So in this, we have the cases reported and the country code, country, and which region it is, because the World Health Organization has grouped some of the country to some of the region for the easy reporting purpose. And you can mute it if you are not speaking, so it will be much easier for me. We can reduce the background noises and people can hear it better. Okay, and here we have one more column called new cases, cumulative cases, new deaths and cumulative deaths. So I will explain it when I import it. So this is pretty much about our data. And we have close to 141,000 line items in this, and also close to 8 columns in our data set. From this 0 data to, we are going to make this Power BI report step by step. And Power BI, you can go to the Power BI, you can just go to Google and you can download it, powerbi.com. So in the Googling, when you do it, you will be landing into the Microsoft Power BI website. From there, you can freely download the Power BI desktop. And I will give all these instructions and the presentation I have used end of the session, and I will ask them to distribute to you so you can keep for your references. And also the example files I have used, and also whatever the things which you need to remember it. So I'm opening a new Power BI desktop. I'm just opening. It's just loading. Okay, so when you open a new Power BI desktop file, it will show something like this, a blank Power BI file. So as we know that, so our business question is that we don't have any business question specifically. So we have created a fictional requirement. So we have to create some of the analysis using the COVID-19 data. The first step in the Power BI is to import the data. To import the data, we can use the get data option. If I click on more, we will be getting various options. Possibly we can connect to almost all the data sets. So it can be an Excel or it can be a CSV text files, and also we can connect to the live data sources, and also we can connect to SQL servers, Access databases, and you can see that there are a lot of 100+ data sources we can connect to it, and also any Azure services, AWS services, and from Databricks, any data transformation or the ETL tool we are using it. From that, we will be able to connect you to our Power BI. So here I'm going to use, my input file is CSV. So I'm going to use the CSV as an option. This is my connector. We have to use the appropriate connector based on our input file. I cannot use an Excel workbook connector if my input is CSV or my input is PDF or a paraqued file. So based on what is my input or raw data, based on that, we have to use the appropriate connectors. In this, we are going to use a CSV file, text or CSV. And I click connect. Then it will open a browser, the file explorer. I will navigate to the file I have stored it, and inside this I have stored it. And this is my data set, which is WHO COVID-19 global data set. And I'm just clicking open. It will connect to that data set. And it will show a preview window. It will display somewhere around 20 rows and all the columns. This will make sure that, okay, you are loading the right data set you wanted it. Before loading itself, you can figure it out. Okay, these are the columns and data preview. I have it. Here we will get 3 options. One is to load directly to the Power BI, and second one is the transform data and the cancel option. If you want, we can cancel it that as well. I'm clicking on transform because we wanted to make some changes in our raw data. When I click on the transform data, it will take us to the Power Query editor. Power Query editor, it's a simple and easy to use a data transformation tool. We can make a lot of automations using this. And the beauty of this, we won't make any changes to the source data because now we have read a CSV file, right? And that data we will just read. And all the transformation happens inside this engine, inside this Power Query editor. And we are not overwriting any source informations. And it will actually remember all the applied steps which you are doing it here. And when we are doing this next time, we don't have to do all this. We have to just click refresh and all these cases get updated accordingly. Now, if you remember the data analytics steps which we need to follow, we imported the data and now we need to explore our data, what all data set which we have it. Before that, it's really important when we use any data analytics tool except Excel, we need to define the data types when we are working it. Data types are nothing but what type of data includes inside that column. And we need to define the data types accordingly. So defining data types in Power BI, it's pretty easier, especially in the Power Query editor. There will be left-hand side, you can see an icon, small icon. If you click on this, you will be getting all the data types. And here we have various data types. And if it's a decimal number, you can use decimal number. If it's a fixed decimal number, you can use it that, and so on, because these are self-explanatory. Since automatically Power Query will detect the data types based on the first 200 rows. Okay, and you can actually check and overwrite it. Okay, if you are not happy with that automatic detection. So you can do that, because here I'm pretty happy with the result which Power Query automatically detected it. And this is what I expected. And I don't think any changes required. If you feel whenever you're working, you need to change it. It's all about just clicking here and you can change the data types accordingly. Then we just define the data types in the exploration stage. And the next one, we have to understand our data. In Power BI, it's pretty easy. Inside the view tab, we can see three options. One is called column distribution, column profiling, and column quality. If we just check mark these three options, it will actually profile your data and it will gives you the quality of the data you have it. By default, Power BI profile the first 1000 rows because that's good enough to understand your quality. But if you want to do that based on your entire data set, you can just come down here and you can change this to column profiling based on the entire data set. Now, I know that we have 141,000 rows. So if I do the profiling based on the 1000 rows, I'm not sure whether I will get a right result. If I have any blanks, any errors after my 1000 rows, it won't show it in the result. That's why I'm just having a profiling inside based on my entire data set. Since we have 141,000 line items, it might take little time, and this is not recommendable if you work with the big data. That should be handled in Azure Analysis Services or in some other external tools. So this is for the medium or small data sets. That's recommendable. And also, while I'm sharing my screen, it will behave a little bit slowly. I will just switch that to the 1000 rows just to show we don't wait for the delays. Okay, so I will just do the profiling only based on my first 1000 rows. But this is the message. It will actually shows whether all your data points or all your observations are valid or not. If there are any errors, it will show it. And also the distribution, it will show it. And also based on the numbers, based on the data types, you will be getting the column statistics differently. And you can see it here. I have selected the new cases. And it's actually selected the initial 1000 rows. And if there are any errors, it will show the error count. And if there are any empty rows, it will show it like this. And also it showed the distinct value. Distinct is nothing but the uniqueness of that value. Then the zero value. Are there any zero values? Then what is the minimum value in that? And what is the maximum value? Average, standard deviation, how many even values are there? How many odd values are there? This will give you a basic statistics about your data. And this is pretty good to understand if you need to perform any cleaning, such kind of activities. And if you click on country, if you Here you can see that in the first 1,000 rows, only 2 countries are coming. It's Afghanistan and Albania. And if you see any spelling mistakes and those kind of abnormalities, you can note it down and we can do the data transformation here. And we have a bunch of transformation tools here. Okay, and there are many tools available. We are not going in depth of that, but the Power Query will help us to transform our data into required format. That's about the profiling and the column distribution. It will help you to understand your data set. Okay, and after doing this, as I said earlier, we don't need to keep the columns which we are not going to use it. And here, I don't want the cumulative column because this is same new cases and the cumulative cases. It will add on top of it every day. And since I have the new cases column, I don't need the cumulative cases. I can simply right click and delete this column. And the cumulative deaths as well, because I have the new deaths cases which is reported on a daily basis and I don't require this cumulative deaths. I can right click and remove it. So what you see it here, I have removed 2 columns and that is recorded in the applied steps. So whatever the steps we are doing in Power Query, it will automatically record it. So it's just like creating a flow, and next time when we are doing this, it will automatically pass to it. And here, if you want, you can change the name. Okay, and also if you need to add additional comments to it, whatever you have changed it, you have the flexibility to rename the steps as well. And also if you need additional comments, if you're using VBA or any Python or any R scripts, you know that you used to add a long text, right? What is this step does? You can also add that inside this as well. So it's really flexible and it can keep the track of all the data transformation steps you are doing it. I'm not going to make any changes inside this. I'm just happy with what it is. Okay, and if you're not happy with this column headers, we can actually change the column headers as well. It's all about just double clicking and just changing it accordingly. And we just don't require this country code as well. And we have the country, so I can just remove that as well. It's really important the data we are keeping it only required, so it will reduce the data load. And I'm just changing the WH region like this. So as you noticed on the right hand side, each steps what I have done it, it's actually recorded it. And I can go back and see what was my previous state of the data. And it's really flexible. Once you made all your changes, and there are a bunch of data transformation tools, depends on the data types you have. It can be a date. In date, you have all different data transformation tools. For the text, you have another bunch of data transformation tools. For the numbers, you have another set of data transformation tools. And also for the special objects, something like the country, locations, you have a different transformation objects as well. And also you can write a R or the Python script inside Power Query editor to do the data transformation. Okay, and if you're well versed with that, you can use it. And for a non-technical people, it's pretty easy to click the buttons rather than writing a lengthy code, right? And end of the day, you're reaching almost the same thing. Once you have done your transformation or the required informations in your Power Query editor, the next step is to loading to our data model. Here, I can click close and apply. So now we will again come back to our normal canvas window. It will show that the data is loading now. And it's take a bit time, depends on the size of the data which we have it. And it shows now close to 141,000 line items are loaded to our data set. And just to introduce the canvas, what all tools we have it. And on the left hand side, you can see a report view. This is the canvas where we create the visuals. And this is our data view. So in this data, we can see all our data. Okay, whatever data which we have loaded to it. And as of now, I have loaded only one table, so we can see only one. If we have multiple tables, we can see all those tables. And this is my modeling window. Modeling window is nothing but the Power BI works on the star schema basis. And if you don't know, you don't have to worry, but I will just explain it. Star schema basis, one fact table and all dimensions table. Something like, if I give an example, and if you're working for a supermarket data, the daily transactions is nothing but my fact table, because inside the fact table, what are the daily transactions or which is happening in every minute or any hour, they will record it. And we will have a lot of dimensions table around that. In fact table, we will mention only the product ID. In the dimensions table, we will store all that product related informations. And we can create a simple relationship with our fact table, with the dimensions table, product dimensions table, to extract all the informations. That's called star schema in the data modeling. But here, to simplify and also to accommodate the time, we are loading only one table. If you have many tables, we can create the relationships. Relationship is nothing but, in a simple way, if you are using an Excel worksheet, if you need to extract one information from another sheet or another workbook to your working sheet, you normally do the VLOOKUP, right? And in data modeling, you don't have to do that. You have to just create the connection between two different data sets. And in Power BI, you will be able to talk between those two tables. That's called data modeling in a simple way, creating relationship with all the different data tables which we have it. And there are various data modeling options. We have it inside Power BI. It's enormous. Okay, we have a lot of flexibility to do the data modeling, and we can create the DAX measures and all. Since we are not going to all through that advanced topics, we will just get back to our basic canvas window, and here we will spend some time to create the basic visuals. So what all visuals we want to create it? So we wanted to create one visual for the total case, total deaths, the mortality rate, and the total reported and reported cases and deaths over a month period of time, and the most impacted countries. And these are the charts which we need to prepare it. So we will start creating it one by one. Let us focus on the total cases. Okay, so total cases, which we need to identify how many total cases are reported across the globe. And this is my visualization pane. Okay, and this is my filter pane where I can filter out my data. And this is my fields pane where I can see all my data available in the data which we loaded. So what we are going to report now, it's the total cases reported. So in Power BI, we have various stock chart options we have. And this is one thing called a card. I'm just selecting this card. The moment I select it, inside my canvas window, there is one blank card came, right? And now we have seen a fields also here. I can drag and drop the field I want to report it. Okay, and by default, it's came the grouped value. Microsoft will aggregate it together, and also it will give the value millions or billions, thousand automatically. And we can customize that option as well. What I have done, I just dragged and dropped this field inside this value, right? This field. But this is called a implicit measure because I just dragged and dropped it, because this is not the best practices. Due to the time pressure, we are just adding that. There is the better way of doing it, which is called explicit measures. That is called data analysis expressions. I can simply create a measure here that is called an explicit measure, creating using a formula. Okay, sum of my new cases. So that will give an explicit measure. Since we are not going through that, then we need to extend the time. So we will be getting the result if you do it in a both way, but the explicit measure is the best way of handling such kind of cases. But here we are just using the implicit measure. And I just got it the 232 cases. And what I will do now, we will first create all the visuals. We don't format it. Formatting, we will do it later. Okay. One is the first case is 232 cases. Then the next one, we need to report the death. Okay, how many deaths we have it in total. What I will do, I will just copy this visual and paste it. Control C, Control V. I'm just taking a copy of it. And I'm removing this new deaths and new cases and adding the new deaths to it. And we have 5 million cases to it. And we know that exactly it's not 5 million. So we can customize all these fields. I can go to this paintbrush, and inside the general, we have various options, and inside the data labels also, we have various options. Here we can control the display units and the decimal values as well. I'm just increasing the decimal values to 2. So we'll get it. The exact number is 4.76 million deaths across the globe. And this one also, I will just keep it 2 decimals. So we will get it an exact value instead of rounded value. Okay, it's 232.36 million. That is the total cases reported. Now the next one, the mortality rate. Mortality rate is nothing but in a country or overall, how many people died due to COVID. That is nothing but total deaths divided by the total number of cases. That is my mortality rate. So we don't have that column exist or the data point exist in our table. In Power BI, it's not necessary we need to exist all the columns. If it's something can be calculated with the available columns, we can do it using the DAX measures. That's what I said, it's explicit measures. To do that, we can do it from this page as well. And also we can go to the modeling window as well. But I'm just doing it from here, something called a quick measure. Quick measure, we have to just select the fields what we require and what we are planning to do it. And by default, Power BI will create the DAX formula for us. We don't have to write the formulas. Here I can do what kind of calculation I need to do it. So here we have to divide, right? The total number of deaths divided by the total number of cases. So I can select, I'm just going to do the division. We have various options. And I'm just selecting the division. And here we have to give the numerator and denominator. So numerator, I'm selecting my new deaths. Denominator, I'm selecting my new cases. And I'm just clicking OK. Now it takes a moment. Now you see a new measure added to my fields table. We can actually rename this. Okay, I'm just renaming this to mortality percentage, pressing enter. And it's actually created the DAX measure in the backend. We haven't written any code. We have just select the numerator and denominator and the options which we needed it. Rest all done by Power BI. Now I can actually choose this card. In either way, you can copy and paste it. And also we can choose the card. And I'm just selecting now my mortality percentage. And here it's coming 0. So I have to just change that measure information instead of whole number, because this is the new DAX measure which we created, right? And we haven't defined any data types. We have to actually define that as a percentage. And we can keep the decimals also inside this. When we create a new measure, we'll be able to do that. We don't have to go to Power Query Editor for that. I will just keep 2 decimals. Okay, 2.05. That is my mortality rate. So it's pretty simple, adding the card and adding the values which we required. Okay, now we have created 3 cards. Now let us create the trend over a period of time, how the number of cases and the number of deaths are increasing. We will use line and clustered column chart for this. Each one of these charts are for different purposes. So in this, I'm using line and clustered column chart. I'm just keeping here. Here, we need few informations. One is my data axis in the X, and we have primary and secondary axis. Inside one, we will be using it, the number of cases, and another side, we will be using it, the number of deaths. So we will do the same. In Power BI, whenever we have a date, Power BI will automatically create a hierarchy based on those dates. Hierarchy is nothing but it will actually give the breakup. Day is the most granular data inside that, and it will be aggregated to month, and it will be aggregated to quarter and year. So we can use any dimension for the reporting. It's not necessary we have to use the exact date is available inside that. Based on our requirement, we can use the grouped informations as well. We can create the custom hierarchies as well, not only for the dates, location. We have the city and the state and the country and the region. Similar to that, we can create a hierarchy also based on our custom requirements. We're not doing that due to the time pressure. So here in the share axis, I will select the year and the month. Okay, because we don't want to do at the day level reporting in this. It will be too clustered. So we just need to see it aggregated. We need to make it intuitive. Then in the column values, I am taking the column new cases. Okay. And in the line values, I am taking the new deaths. And now you see by default, it's came and grouped at the year level because that is the most highest in that our hierarchy. There is an option here. We can do the drill down. This is another feature. We have to skip it. And what it will do, it will help us to drill down our data to the next level. And if I have added the quarter and month, we can go to up to the most granular level based on our requirement. And here I'm just restricting to my month and year. And what you see it now, in the bar, the number of cases reported, the line chart represents the number of deaths. So here you can see that in 2021 April, we have the highest number reported. And in the month of January 2021, we have the highest deaths reported. And you see, it's just like increasing, then it will come down. It's just like showing that curve, and it's not completely gone. But still, in September, there are no drastic improvements. Still, there are a lot of cases, but we are not at the highest stage or the bad stage. It's slowing down the trend. We will do the further formatting, but we will create the basic charts. Then we will go to the formatting. This is another chart which we created. This is called line and clustered column chart. We can use two different values. One is for bar, one is for line, because since this is directly correlated, we will be using that inside that. Then we can use the most impacted countries. Since we have the country information, we can use the map visual as well. This is my map visual. If I click on this in my canvas, one card will add it for the map. For each one of the charts, we have to give different inputs. What are the inputs I have given into this? That is required to create that specific charts. And all the inputs are not mandatory for all the charts, but there are some cases at least we have to fill in the X and Y axis. In this, we are getting all together different values. So here I will add my location, this country, that is my location, to my location. Okay, then the number of cases here, it's I believe I have took the death. Yeah, I will just take the mortality rate. Okay, what is the most impacted in terms of, because most impacted, the most number of people died, right? It's not in India. If you look at it, the number of cases are really high when we compare it with European Denmark country, because their population itself is small and also similar to other countries. So instead of taking the whole number, we will consider the mortality percentages as the size. The higher the mortality percentage, okay, the better it is. Sorry, the worst it is. The lower the mortality rate is, the better it is. Now, if you see it, we have many countries, and this is something like on a higher side. It's a Yemen. It's 18.97. Okay, 18.97 Yemen. Even though their number of cases are less, but the mortality rate is on a higher side. What it means, out of 100 people whomever is getting infected or the reported, close to 19 people are died out of that 100. So the mortality rate is on a higher side. And if you look into Yemen, and we can just click here to expand it, and we will be getting a bigger window. And also in the North America, we will be having the Peru, such kind of countries. So this will actually represent the bubble wise, the mortality rate. And I will keep that here. And we can just hover our mouse on top of it. Then it will show the information. Whenever we create the Power BI, by default, all the charts are connected together. What does that mean? If I select my Yemen as an example, now my all other 2 charts or the 4 charts which we created, that will be automatically filtered to show only Yemen numbers. So here what you see, in Yemen, total 9,039 cases are reported. However, there are 1,715 people died, and the mortality rate is 18.97. And I can click again here in this, so it will go back to the default all view. And you can select similar kind of any bubble, then it will show the exact information, and this including the chart and the trend. Okay. In Mexico, there are total 3.65 million cases reported, and 27,000 deaths are reported. That is 7.58 is the mortality rate. So it's pretty intuitive when you create a Power BI, because it's not a default. Whenever you're sharing with the users, if they are interested in some of the topics, they don't have to come back to you to create another report. They can select here and they can grab the information however they need. It's just like slicing and dicing inside the existing report. Similar to this, because if I select, if I want to see in April, we have the most number of cases, right? If I just wanted to click here, what happened in April? My all visuals will get filtered accordingly. So it's pretty easy for us to select one data point and we can interact with all other visuals which we created. Now we created one more. Then we will go to the next one. We'll take now highest reported cases by country. I will just keep it a little bit here. Okay, so here we have to identify, okay, which is the most 10 or 15 countries in terms of the most number of cases reported. We can use the clustered bar chart for that. And here we have to give the axis and the values. Those are the 2 mandatory values we have to give it. I will take country to the axis. Then I will take the new cases to the values. And we have many countries, right? 200 plus countries. And we don't need all of them because it will create a lot of noise to the report. So in Power BI, we can filter out the specific informations. This can be achieved through various ways. I will show the most simplest way. Inside the filter, we have to select this particular visual, okay? Then I will go to the filters. And here I can filter my country. Going to the basic filtering, there I have an option to select the specific number of values. I can select top or bottom countries as well. I'm selecting the top 10 countries in terms of the new deaths by value. And if I click apply, now what I see it in my report, only the top 10, not any other countries. If you see, these are the top 10 countries in terms of the number of cases reported. United States of America is the top, which contribute to somewhere around 42 million. Then India is the second one, which contribute to 33.74 million. Okay. And USA is the most number of cases. And if I click again, it will go back to the stock mode, which will be filtered out everything. I will just keep here. No, I know it doesn't look good. We will come to that formatting in the last, after creating all the required one, the final one. First, we will create analysis. Then we will go to the final touchings and the final visualization things. Then we will do the similar kind of thing in terms of the total number of death. Since we are already used this all this, so I can just copy and paste here this visual. Then instead of the new cases, I can take the new deaths. Okay, and similar to that, I can go to the country, and instead of the new cases, I can take the new deaths in the filter for the top 10. Now what you see, the top 10 in terms of the number of deaths. So USA is the still highest in terms of the death, and Brazil is the second, and India, then followed by Mexico, Russia, and other countries. And one more visual. So if we just wanted to see the total deaths by region, because WHO divided the countries by region for easy reporting. So it will actually differentiate. For example, we use it Americas, Africas, Southeast Asia, right? Which India includes in the Southeast Asia. So that's how they actually group the countries. We'll just create a quick pie chart because that's a common to see the death. What is the distribution of deaths? WHO region, I will move to my legend or the details. Then I will take the new deaths into the values. Okay, now you see over 2 million cases deaths are reported. Close to 50% of the cases are reported, deaths are reported in the Americas region. Then followed by Europe as a second in terms of the region. Then the Southeast Asia, where the India also includes. For your information, China doesn't report to WHO. So China data is missing. That's why you don't see any China's number in anywhere. So they don't report to WHO, not like other countries. So that data is not available in any website. Now we have created some basic informations which will give the overall idea about our data set rather than looking into the spreadsheet. Now we have overall idea. Okay, which month we have the highest cases, which country is most affected, which are the top 10 country in terms of the impact, deaths, and also by region. Also, I'm just creating a new report. We can create n number of pages inside this, but it's recommendable to keep it maximum 2 or 3, not so many. And also keeping the visuals very simple and not too clustered. I'm going to inside the page 2, and inside Power BI, we have a lot of artificial intelligence powered visuals as well. Okay, I'm not going through everything. I will show you one among them, which is called a decomposition tree. What it will do, you know that there are various type of analytics, right? One is descriptive analytics that talks about what is already happened. The second one is diagnostic analytics, that is to deep dive into the specific information. Okay, what has happened? Then the third one is the predictive analytics. What will happen in the future based on the historical data points. And the last one is the prospective analytics, based on all these data points, taking the business decisions, doing some A/B testing and doing some simulations to make the decisions which will drive the business or any decisions. So in this, what all we have done it in this is part of the descriptive analytics, because that event is already passed and we are just doing that. However, if we need to go little bit into detail with all the data points, we can use this kind of artificially intelligent charts inside. This is called decomposition tree. So here I'm just adding, and I will explain it. I just wanted to see my total number of cases. That is explained by, analyzed by, sorry, it should be opposite. I want to analyze my total number of cases by WHO region. Also, the next level, I wanted to analyze by country. So here in this visual, first it will give the total number of cases reported, and there is a plus symbol, we can see it. And I can expand this by the another level. And I can click on each one of these plus to see the hierarchy. This is really useful chart when you have a hierarchy or information when you need to analyze your data. And these are the total number of cases, 232 million, and close to 89 million cases are reported from Americas. And USA is the number one, and followed by Brazil, Argentina. And if I wanted to do the similar analysis in Southeast Asia, I can click here. Automatically, the country selection will change. I see India now in the top place. Here I can see all the data while scrolling it. So this is really a useful chart if you want to do the detailed analysis of our data. It's called the diagnostic analytics, we would say. We just wanted to understand. We wanted to drill down little more. We wanted to see everything. So similar to this, I can see, I'm just taking a copy of it. Similar to this, we can see the number of deaths as well, side by side. If I select Europe and if I select Turkey, and similar to this, if I just go to Europe and select Turkey, it's actually interlinked. If I select Russia inside Europe, now use Russia also highlighted here. So it's actually connected, and we can interpret our data in a little more meaningful way. Not only in this data, in any data where we have hierarchies. So those are the visuals, and there are various visuals available in Power BI. Okay. Also, if you are not happy with the stock visuals, we can import a lot of custom visuals from Power BI app sources as well. Okay, there is a website where we can download a lot of custom charts, which is developed by the third party. That is not recommendable, but if you want to make it more visually appealing, you can just download it and use it. Okay, so those are the some of the charts options we have it. Now I am going to the most crucial part of it. Now you already know that creating a report or visual in Power BI, it's not so really difficult. If you get little more training, you can also do it. It's pretty simple, loading the data, selecting the chart and dragging and dropping it, and just putting your value in the right axis and the values. But it's really important to format in such a way where you will users feel it's simple and nicely formatted and sticking to a theme of the colors. I have seen many reports. One chart is in black color, another chart is in green color, the next chart is in red color, and it's not in a theme. Different fonts, there is no storytelling elements in that. The crucial part in data visualization, you should feel that it's like a story, and you should be able to connect all the dots one by one. If I start from here, the total cases reported and the total deaths and the mortality rate. So now I have the overall expectation. Okay, as on today, these are the total number of cases reported across India. Sorry, not in India, across the world. Then total number of cases. Then the mortality percentage. Then month on month trend. Here I will be able to easily see, okay, these are the cases. And here I will be able to see which countries are most impacted. So similar to this, we need to place. This will be only possible if we closely interact with our business people. What they would like to see it. What is the most interesting KPI for them? KPI is nothing but the key performance indicators. We can create the most beautiful Power BI report, but what is the purpose if no one uses it? Because they're so confused, because I have gone through similar kind of cases many times. We have created a report, we got the data, we created a beautiful report, but the business required a different thing. When I went to my business with a bar and line chart, the comment I got it from business saying that it's too difficult to read it. Can you create two different charts? It's easy for me. It's also not important how efficient we are, because these reports are not created for us to consume on a daily basis, right? It's created for someone else, the business users. What makes sense for them? Okay, always put your shoes into your customer's shoes. Okay, always think about their requirements and what makes their life little more easier. Okay, this is just an example. So what I said, it's a you have to keep in mind whenever you're creating the report. Now let us go back to this report, and I will just give you a few tips quickly in next 10 minutes how we can format it similar to this. Okay, so what I will do, I will touch base some of the theme. The first interesting thing is that we have to select a theme inside Power BI. Theme is nothing but all of you use any mobile phones, right? It's Android or iOS devices. So you know that the theme, if you install a theme, your all icons, your color, page, everything will be in the same theme and color. That's the same in Power BI as well. If you go to view, you will get a lot of predefined themes. You can select the theme which you like. If you select the theme, automatically all the report, color, background, everything will get changed accordingly. Okay, I'm not going to use this. I will just go stick with this basic one. As neat and clean one. I don't want a lot of noise in my report and a lot of color which distract the users. So I will keep it the minimalistic one. And also in organizations create their own themes. And if you're already working for any organization, they have their own color combinations. So you can create your own custom themes here. There is one thing called a customize your theme. It's actually a JSON code. You can download it and you can write your changes. It's pretty simple to understand. It's like you write the normal text. You can customize the color. In some of the organization, it will be in line with their logo and all other colors. The font they're supposed to use, the size they're supposed to use, the font size, then the color. When they open it, what color should see mainly? And if you have noticed, Instagram icon and the Facebook icon, it's a blue, right? Their theme. And if you use Google, there are some primary colors. When they use their report or the PowerPoint presentations also, those colors will come specifically. Similar to this, you can define your primary, secondary, tertiary, and fourth, fifth, all the colors and the color combinations. That's called the governance and the Power BI themes. So here I'm just used the symbol theme. Okay. Then I want to differentiate my background versus my each one of the chart element. So what I will do, I will just format my background. I will just little bit give a darker side of it. I will go and select outside of my visuals. Then I will go to my paintbrush. There I'll be getting the page background color. Then I will use a little bit darker color. Then I will make, okay, the transparency at somewhere around 20. These all are formatting techniques, okay? And if you don't want it, if you don't want to use it, but for me, the report should looks really good and simple. And here also, I'm just going now selecting one by chart and I'm applying the background and removing this transparency. It's pretty simple. So there are a lot of customization options here. Just loading it. I'll just do all of this quickly. Also, I can use a format painter. Since I'm sharing my screen, it's just like loading a little slowly. So you don't have to do one by one. You can click which one you use. If you use Excel, you're familiar with the format painting. You can actually copy the format from one chart to another. I have to just copy it and paste it like this. So automatically those changes or the background we enable, that will be applied for each one of these charts as well. Okay, for this visual as well, I will add it some background. Okay, now it's time to just assign this little bit, and this is the most interesting and little bit tougher part to keeping the right alignment of it. Okay, and adjusting this accordingly. Okay, I will just place it. And next, one more thing I want to add it. That's why I'm just keeping a space on top of it. I have to add a meaningful heading. So I will keep these three charts in the bottom because for me, the important numbers are this. So I will place it on the top. So the important visuals or the KPIs for the business, since we created a fictional problem, it's just for our order. But when you create a Power BI report for some of the business, you have to ask your customers what they would like to see first. And you have to keep that in a highlighted in the first place because business will be really interested those numbers. They wanted to see their sales when they open the report. But if you place the sales numbers in the second page, you are not communicating with them properly because the proper communication, the requirement gathering will help us to understand which one to place it with. Now let us see, okay, some of the cornering we have used it, and also some of the these 3D elements we added it. And if you see, all these charts are having the equal size spaces in between this. That's what we are going to use it next. So I can take this inspiration. So here I can select one chart. We have tons of formatting options in Power BI. All these are for that. Here I'm just clicking on the border, and this will help me to adjust my radius. So I will just update 15 as the radius. Now you see the outline, it's little bit curved, and I don't want the outline to be displayed. So I will just turn it off my color as white. So now if you see it, we have this, but there is no border, but my outline is a little bit curved. Then I can select this and apply 3D. Okay, so there is one thing called a shadow. Inside the shadow also, we have tremendous options. I can choose what color kind of shadow color we want, whether we need outside, bottom right, or there are a lot of options. I'm not touching any of that. I just keep as it is in the stock. Then the important thing is that we have to keep the equal spacing between this. So I will copy this. I will paste here. So automatically all the formatting which I have applied, that will apply to this chart as well. Okay, especially the rounding, the size won't be copied, but especially the cornering and the 3D shades which I have added, it will be copied over to that visuals as well. It's not copied. It's really slow. Okay, now we have formatted the 3 in the bottom, but we know that, okay, it's not equally, the size is not equal. Okay, and the height also not equal. So we need to keep it exactly in this format. So here, let me check what is the dimension I have used for this chart, so I can easily take that count. Inside the general, we can actually see it. What is my width and what is my height? Here I have used 411 and 310. I will use the same. 411 and 310. Similar to this as well. 411 and 310. It's not changed the height. 310. Okay, 411. It's slightly delay the responses because of the screen I'm sharing it. I'm really sorry for that. Okay, now we have three charts, which is a size is equal, but however we use our mouse, we won't be able to get the exact spacing between the charts and the alignment. So for that, we can use the control and select these three charts because this is coming in the last row, right? There are various options inside the formatting pane where we can keep the alignment. So now if I click on the align top, all these charts alignment will be equal. And I can keep alignment which is distributed horizontally. Now the spaces between each one of the charts will be equally distributed. So instead of you design manually dragging and dropping it, use this formatting pane. Okay, inside that the alignment option. So this will actually help you to keep it in the exact places. Similar to that, I will use it for this as well. So I will just copy this. At least I will get most of the formats are copied. Even though still there is a delay to get it. Okay, I'll just keep it. So next we will arrange this little bit. Size I will adjust to this. This also I will increase the width little bit. It's all we can do it manually or adjusting using the general details. This also I will reduce the width little bit. Okay, so I'm not going to the perfection mode. I will just keep it. There's a whole idea. Just keep it the simple way. Then we can add a heading also. We can go to the insert and in the shape, we can add pictures. If you want the background as a picture, that is not recommended. If you add a picture, it will add a lot of distractions. So I will add a rectangle here. Okay, this is for my heading. Okay, and in the fill, I can choose white. We can select whatever the colors we want. So I will choose white and I will add text to it. I will add a text box inside that. Here I will add COVID-19 impact analysis. Okay, so I can select this text and whatever the font you want, you will be able to choose it. I will just increase the font little bit. So, and I will make it bold and I will adjust and I will align the space accordingly. Just because I'm sharing my screen, I can't actually choose it. It's really taking the performance of my machine. Okay, then we can add a logo to it because I have actually downloaded a logo for the World Health Organization. So we can insert a picture also inside this. So I can click image and where I posted my image, I can just select that. And we can go and place wherever we want to place this logo. I will just keep it here. I know there are many questions, so I will just address it. Let me finish this. So it's not the perfect one, but after formatting it, we will be landing into like this. So it's really important. Now we have designed the reporting Power BI desktop, and it's really interactive. Based on the selection, it will go and adjust all our charts accordingly. So the next step in this, we have to share this report with our peers or the colleagues or the business users, right? That's why we have an option called publish. The moment I publish, it will actually ask you to save it. Now we are going to publish this to the cloud version. Now, as of now, this is in the desktop. So people won't be able to use it because it's only in my desktop. If I want to share it with other people, okay, I have to publish this. To publish, you need to have the Power BI services access. Unfortunately, you cannot log into the Power BI services with your personal email ID. You need to have an organizational email ID to get the test environment for that. Okay, if you can't log in it, if you're already working for your organization, you can contact your IT. So they will help you to set it up. And I'm just clicking this workspace. Workspace inside a Power BI service is same like a folder structure. Inside each one of the folder, we will create it for a specific purpose, right? So the my workspace is the area for your personal purpose. Inside that, I am just publishing it. Now this is publishing it from my Power BI desktop to the cloud version. Cloud version will help us to share or distribute this report with many people. They don't have to install the Power BI services. Now, if you see it, it is actually published to the Power BI services. And if I click on this now, an online version will come. Okay, this is the cloud version of Power BI. This is my organization account. Just for the demo purpose, I'm just showing it. Okay. Now, whatever we have designed, we have published to the Power BI services. Still, it's only I have access to it. Sharing with other people, there are various options. We can simply click here and share it with the people, or we can create an app which is called Power BI app, and we can share it with other people. So there are various options. So I don't go into that really details, but this is just for information. Now, if I want to give an access to any people, I can just click on it and I can type the email ID to whom I wanted to share the access. They will get an email, then they can access the informations. And also there are various informations. You can download the copy of this, what you published. And also you can analyze it in Excel. You have designed everything in Power BI desktop, but Power BI services will help you to do the analysis because many people are well versed with Excel, right? Still, even though whatever the Power BI report they have to analyze the data in Excel. They can click on that and it will ask you to install a couple of connections, and all this data will be available for you in Excel. Then PowerPoint, you can actually print this dashboard to a PowerPoint presentation as well, and also to the PDF. And there is various options. If you use Microsoft Teams, it's highly integrated with Microsoft Teams. You can integrate this report with Microsoft Teams as well. Then there is a subscribe option. If many people in organization will have many reports, right? So very often they miss to check some of the reports. So just not to miss it, we can subscribe some of the report. If somebody want to view this report every Monday at 9 a.m., we can activate a trigger here. I can click and I can activate it, and every day to whomever I need to send it, automatically a email will go to them with a snapshot of my report. They don't have to open it. They will get an overview as an email. Okay, this is the numbers as per the latest update. And they can just look it. And if they want to really deep dive into that, they can click on it. They can go into the report very detailed. And also there are tons of features in Power BI desktop and Power BI services, but we are just limited to share it due to the time pressure. And that's about the Power BI desktop. Power BI desktop is used to transform, extract, transform, and do the modeling and reporting it. Once the report designing is done, publish to the Power BI services, that is the cloud version, then share it with all your users. So they can go and access, and they can also access it from mobile phone, and they can see it. And also they can use the comment window. They can click on it. They can add a comment. Okay, then it will be actually, I can actually tag to specific people in this. Okay, so why the numbers are so high? I can't answer it, but if it's a business, you can ask it. Okay, hi in April. And I can just type post. So this person who actually I'm tagging into, actually the responsible for this report, they will get a message. Then I can reply to that from there itself. So it's just like a collaboration platform as well, not only for the report. Definitely a lot of people will have doubts whenever they use the report, right? So they can, in a real time, they can collaborate together as well. That's pretty much about the Power BI services and the desktop. I have few more points. I will just go to that and I will go to your questions next. Some of the best practices in data visualization. Anybody can create visuals in Power BI. It's not so difficult, but always stick to your own coding or the designing element, something like that. Always use the corporate design standard. If you have some of the standards in your organization, same like the themes, which color to use, which font to use, what is the size you need to use it. Make your own personal touch in all the reports. And also the screen layout. It's not a good idea to keep 10 different visuals in the first page itself. Okay, always keep the storytelling elements in your mind. The first page should always talk about very high level KPIs. Second page, you can keep it for little more details. And the third level for the raw data. I have seen many reports in my life. The first page itself is a table. A lot of data same like Excel. That is not a Power BI report. So always keep the 3 level of reporting hierarchy in your mind. First level will be always very high level because all people are not interested to see all the informations. What is really makes sense for them, keep it in the first page. That also prioritize it in an order. Second one, just go little bit into details. The third one, if they want to see the raw data in the backend, raw data means the aggregated data in a table. We can see it because most of the people wants that now. I just wanted to see my raw data, which is associated with this report. So it's pretty easy. And also the colors and fonts, which I said. Then be consistent with the layouts and the color usage and the naming icons, because we haven't gone through that, but always avoid the abbreviations. If that abbreviation everybody knows in your company, you can use it. But if something is personal to you, YOY, so most of the people doesn't know it's year on year, but it's good to have that year on year length. Or if you use some of the short words, avoid that and use the real heading or the naming conventions for that. Then follow the visualization basics. Avoid a lot of noises. Just it doesn't matter you have a picture in the background, it looks good. It's all about how easily people can read and interpret the numbers. If we add dark colors, dark fonts, and very contrasting colors, you are adding a lot of noise to the report. And if we add a lot of text and align the visuals, one visual you will keep it in the left and another one in the right, and there are no alignments, then it's not a good practice. Then formatted numbers. By default, when we added the number, automatically it's clubbed to 232 million, right? Use that easy to read. Just imagine if I'm not giving that 230 million as an option. Okay, I'm just giving it as a actual number. So somebody have to really interpret to read that number, right? So always use the right formatting of the number, whether it is 1,000, 10,000, millions or billions. So it is easy to read, especially the numbers. Then pick the right charts. Don't bring, there are variety of charts available in Power BI or in Tableau, in any system. And there are a lot of custom charts as well. Don't create or use a chart which won't suit to that situation. Just for sake of bringing the varieties, don't use charts. It's okay to keep all the bar charts in the first page if it really makes sense. Just because you need variety, you cannot use a pie chart for some of the things which won't suit it. I will be sharing it where you can find all those informations later. But there is a best practices, which chart you can use it for which purposes. Okay. And use the colors very carefully. Don't use too contrast colors in your reports. Then some of the next steps which you can, if you want to take Power BI as a serious movement, because I know that this 1.5 hours, it was really fast. you at least you got some idea what is Power BI is capable of. Just take it as a demo. Okay, and it's really easy to use it. If you are the one, you already use Microsoft Excel or a lot of Microsoft products, it is really easy transition for you to learn Power BI. Power BI, it's a consistently evolving technology. That's why they are the market leader. Every month, Power BI releases new updates. There are a lot of community around it. There is a very big community around Power BI to answer your all of the questions. A lot of experts and the MVPs are there around it. Join Microsoft Power BI community, and the link I have given below. So this forum will help you to ask any questions around what is happening. If you stuck with something, you can post a question. And if you already know the Stack Overflow, this is Stack Overflow for the Power BI community. So specifically for Power BI, any questions related to the Power BI, you can ask. And this community will be there to help you. And it's really helpful because I use that in my real life. And the second one, subscribe Power BI YouTube channel. Every month, Power BI releases new updates and the new features. So every month, once they publish that, they will release a new video in their YouTube channel, which talks about what all features they have released, what is going to change in the future. It's just 30 minutes to 1 hour. That is the duration they have it. They demonstrate how the new feature needs to be used. If you don't watch it for 6 months, you are actually missing what is happening inside Power BI. Same like all other Microsoft applications, they're going through a lot of changes. So you really need to cope up with these changes to stay relevant in that. Then follow my Microsoft Power BI blogs. All these informations are directly coming from Microsoft. So you will get the latest and greatest informations, and you will become updated at any point of time. Then next, get Microsoft certification DA100. So I will just show you how you can find out that. If you're already working for any organization, you can take this examination for free of cost with your organization ID. Okay, you can just search DA100 for Power BI. Then there is one thing called the DA100 exam. That is the certification called Analyzing Data with Microsoft Power BI. It's actually Microsoft Data Analyst program. And if you open it, you will be getting a page like this. And actually, the fees is 4,800 INR to attend that exam. Don't go and blindly attend it. You need to prepare it. Okay, so but you don't have to pay this 4,800. There are two options. If you have an organization ID, you can actually attend this exam at free of cost. You have to register through your organization ID. Second one, you can use this COVID-19 coupon code. So you have to pay only $15 as an exam fee. That is close to 800, 900 rupees. So rest of the amount you can save it. How the skills are measured? Because the exam is split into various questions. It will start the 20-25% of the questions come from the prepare the data. That is nothing but the Power Query editor. Then model the data, another 25 to 30% of the questions. Then the visualize the data, analyzing it, then deploy and maintaining the deliverables. Deploy and maintain deliverables will happen in the Power BI services. And this is how they measure your skills. And there are two ways you can prepare for it. One is online. It's a free. You will be getting a document like this. Okay, and it's just like purely text, few videos. And if you're good to read all that, you can go through that and you can prepare it. Other one is instructor like paid trainings, same like some of the institutes conduct same like us. So you can join and you can get prepared for that. Then you can attend the exams. Once you got certified, your chances are pretty high to get a job using this Power BI. Okay, that's pretty much about it. And now I am open for questions. We took close to 1.5 hours. I'm just opening the questions one by one now. Okay, some of them it's related to audio and quality issues. And Sreenivasan asked where you can get the dataset, share the link. Okay, I will share the link, dataset, everything. We will host it in a Google Drive and we will share the link. So you can download all these informations what I have used, including the Power BI working file. So you can also try it your own, since the Power BI desktop is absolutely free.
If there is any questions, you can unmute and ask. Okay, no issues. Or use the chat window.
Yes.
Hi, Sreelesh. Am I audible?
Yes, Rohit.
Yeah. Good afternoon. So this is Rohit. So I have a few questions.
Yes.
Regarding the visualization, so there was a visualization where you use the line and clustered column chart, right?
Yes.
So in Tableau we have this dual axis charts, and also similarly in Power BI too, we can use that, right?
Yes.
So we are having that feature, right?
Yeah, the basic foundation for the visualization is same. These are coming from a two different companies, so there will be slight differences. But transitioning from Tableau to Power BI or Power BI to Tableau, it's pretty much easier. And if you see any job description in most of the companies, some of them specifically ask Power BI, some of them specifically ask Tableau. But the most common ask is that Power BI or Tableau or any other visualization. So they know that easy to transition from one to other, and nobody knows everything, right? It's all about we are implementing transitioning from one to another.
Yeah. So just the next question is regarding the date part, where you said that we have year, quarter, month, day, right? So is it customizable? Like, can I have a weekly over there?
Yes, that's what I said. I haven't gone through the entire process.
Okay, fine.
So usually what we do in a typical data modeling perspective, when I do the project, we will have always a dimension table for date, and we will have the dates. It can be achieved through many ways, like Power Query Editor or DAX or an input file. So we will have a date. Using that date, I can do a lot of transformation. I can get the start date of the month. I can take the end date of the month, year, date, week, day, anything. We can do a lot of transformation with one date field. And we can use all those fields for our transformation. I'm not sure whether you have noticed or not, because when I used the month and year, it's become so lengthy. We can reduce that to Jan 21. We can do all those customizable, but that needs to be taken care in the data modeling.
Okay. The next question is regarding the report being shared with our peers, right? So when I share a particular report with my peers, will they be able to apply the same kind of filtration within, like without using the Power BI desktop, like within the Power BI cloud services itself, will they be able to like filter a particular report based on their need?
Yes, so there are two things. So do you want to, because Power BI services will give you a lot of flexibility, and in Power BI services itself, there are multiple access you can give in workspaces. There are contributor, there are admin, there are users. Users will have limited access, but they can use the filters, because it's same like you're sharing an Excel and they can apply the filter, right? They just need to see some of the information specifically. And if I am a data analyst, if I'm responsible to create the report for the entire India and each state wise, and we have area manager for each one of the state. One is for Kerala, one is for Tamil Nadu, one is for Karnataka, like that. And the Karnataka people don't want to see the Kerala data. Kerala people don't want to see Karnataka. So we have options called row level security and object level security in Power BI. When I open it, I can see if I'm from Kerala and my email is assigned to my Azure AD group. It's called Active Directory. And if I am part of Kerala group, I can see only Kerala data, even though the entire data set available in the report. There are a lot of security measures in the Power BI. And also they can use the basic filtering as well. If they wanted to see inside Kerala, they want to see only one place called Kochi, they can apply that slicer and they can bookmark it. Same like we use it in the Google Chrome, right? When we bookmark, we can go and open at any point of time. We don't have to open, apply the filter, make the changes every time. When we use it, the latest changes, we can see it over there.
Okay, so all this will be included with the basic Power BI package itself, right? So we do not have to apply for a particular type of subscription, or is there something like that?
Yes, Power BI includes, when you say Microsoft is free, only the Power BI desktop is free, the
Okay.
report designer. And the
Okay.
catch is that if you need to distribute within your company, you need to have a
Yeah.
license, which is called Power BI Pro. That is close to $35 per year or something, or it's not costly. It's not costly
Got it.
at all like Tableau. Much
Okay.
cheaper than Tableau.
Okay. For an organization level, it is much cheaper than.
Cheaper. Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's a $15 per month, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Yeah, and also there is, if you are an organization use the real-time analytics, a lot of big data, you can opt for the Power BI premium license. That will give you dedicated server capacity, dedicated streaming analytics power, dedicated spaces. All you will get something extra on top of it. So there are various services which is provided by Power BI, which will suit your organization. Depends on the size you have it and the data you are going to host it inside that.
Okay. So just one more question. So I think you might have already answered, but just wanted to clarify once again. So I am basically working on a project where I am analyzing the time spent by each employee within my team, like the time spent by each employee for a particular type of task. For example, how much time an employee is spending for doing development activities, or maybe testing activities, or now since it's an online mode of working, most of us are always time utilization. Most of us are engaged with meetings, right? So how much of an employee's working time is engaged with meetings? So I'm trying to make a report on that. So I have all the data set and everything ready, but my concern here is that when I share the report, so my team might be of 10 members, right? So when the first member access the report, I want him to see only his statistics.
Yes,
Okay.
it's called a row level security, which I said.
Okay.
So
okay,
you have
okay.
to assign the roles, okay? And it can be achieved through Power BI Desktop. You can assign the roles. By default, whenever they log into the Power BI services, they will see only their data. It's called the row level security.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sreelesh. That's it from my side. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And there is a question from Mohammed Mustafa. What are the steps to take by one who wish to switch career from software development to BA roles? Is there any professional certificate or degree needed for this? See, it's yes, it's good to have a certification when you switch your career, right? And as per the statistics, which is reported by the World Economic Forum, see, 1 in every 2 employee needs to rescale by 2025. And all the companies are investing heavily on that because they're forcing them to reskill it. And they are ready to pay that cost. Typically, a transition from one role to another role takes 2 weeks to 5 months. And all the companies are getting their return of investment in 1 year. So they're really keen to give the money, you go and take the certification. But when you're switching from software development to BA roles, you have a lot of experience in your hands. Only thing, you have to get your knowledge into a little bit of analytics side. And the Microsoft DA100 exam is the best for that. And you will get all the basics to switch to a data analyst using Power BI. And Power BI is not only the tool available in the market, but depends on the role. In the data analytics itself, if I take it, there is one thing called data analyst, and one thing called data engineer, data scientist, business intelligence. So various options you have. So which one interested you? And if you're a person, you don't want to code and you don't want to go to too much technical, then data analyst is one of the safest option for you. Because without coding also you can survive it. Bit of SQL and a tool like Tableau, Power BI and Excel, that's good enough for you. And good amount of statistical and analytics power. And data engineer, and you are the person who work with a lot of technically the data storage part. Okay, how this data make available for the data analyst, that's a data engineer does. So you can go to a little bit technical as well if you have a little bit knowledge in the databases, the big data technologies and other things. That is also highly paid job. Then the third one is a data scientist. If you're well versed with the coding, either you do it in Java, C++, it's pretty easy for you to transition to tools like Python or R because you already know the coding. Only thing you need to learn the algorithms and the statistics. All these are libraries. You don't have to code end to end. If you have the programming knowledge and if you have the desire to continue pursue a career in the programming area itself, data scientist is a good option. Only thing, the statistics little bit heavily involved in that. Then the business intelligence. Business intelligence specialist mainly focused on visualizing the data, creating this kind of report. So if you're a technical person, you can go through the data scientist or the engineering area. If you're a non-technical person and if you need to be in a non-coding area, you can become a data analyst or the business intelligence specialist.
Nice
Hi.
relation.
I think there are a lot of background noise.
Yeah, and that's not from my side, I believe.
Yeah. Let me.
Yeah, actually, currently I'm working as a business analyst. So I just want to know whether this BI developer and the business analyst job can we that, or do I need to learn BI and to particularly focus on that BI developer role?
A lot of noise. I'm not clear with the question. I think.
Can you please use the mute all option?
Stop sharing.
Sreelesh, you are the host, so you can use the mute all option.
Okay, so okay.
How many participants are...
Okay, I think now you can unmute and ask. I just muted everyone.
Yeah, hi Sreelesh.
Hi.
Yeah, actually, currently I'm working as a business analyst. So, but actually, I got pretty interested in this Power BI. So, I just want to know whether actually the Power BI is a skill that is required by a business analyst, or it's a completely a new wing. I mean, do I need to work as a BI developer only if I'm going to that?
No, so the whole purpose of implementing or releasing this Power BI is the self-service analytics. In your organization, anyone can create a analysis within minutes if you have the basics. You can become a business analyst because business analyst, my definition, because it's changed company to company. Business analyst is the person who is a scope or intermediate between the business people, also with between the technical people. You actually convince the requirement to the technical people, pass the message to the business people. You are the mediator. So if you know a little bit of Power BI, it's really good because you will have a lot of opportunity to do that. And if you're interested to transition your career to data analyst, because that's where you will get paid better, right, over a business analyst. So you can learn Power BI bit and it will really add value to your profile.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, just one question. So now in your example, just you shown the data source on Excel. So how do we manage the changing data sources? Say, for example, next month you got a new data source.
Yes.
How do you manage?
Yeah, that we have to handle it in the Power BI services. So the moment we publish to the Power BI services, there is no connection between the source data and the published version. The connection is disconnected the moment you publish to the services. So there are options to schedule the refresh, because you need to create a gateway. There are two gateways. One is personal gateway and the enterprise gateway. So when you set it up that, it will create a connection established to that folder on a connection. So whenever you have the new version, either you can manually refresh it or you can schedule the refresh. For example, if you are getting a file every day 3 times, you can set the scheduled refresh 3 times in a day. So automatically, when you have the file set will refresh. It's called the data refresh option. We have to do that in the scheduled refresh inside Power BI services.
So it means you have to take care of a dynamic data map, the formatting, everything. That's the reason we have to
it's pretty simple to add it. It's just like clicking 2-3 buttons. And might be if you don't have the access, you need the help from IT, because you need to install a couple of exe files in that to create the connection. And the recommendable one, there are 2. One is personal gateway and another one is enterprise gateway. Personal gateway will be linked to your personal system. You have to be online to execute that refresh. If you are away, if you're offline, that refresh will fail it. So whenever you are deploying a model or a report to an enterprise level, it's always good to be at the enterprise level refresh. So even though you are not online, offline, if you're on leave, it doesn't matter. It will take care of it from your common data sources.
Okay. Is an SDK available from Power BI so that I can integrate with my application? Just to, it's an SDK like Jasper. If you look on Jasper, I have Jasper Java SDK. So same way, like isn't a Power BI SDK, so I can integrate with my application for dynamic report creation and report publishing, something like that.
Yes, there are various options, something like the paginated report, and also you can use APIs to embed it with any other external. And it's pretty easy. And you can easily integrate with SharePoint if you use it, websites, and you can easily integrate it with application development, and you can easily integrate with Teams. So the
yes,
APIs and
my question is that how's that integration part? Like, is it via SDK or like we have a common data source and we'll keep writing data?
It will be through the CDS, because now the CDS is called Dataverse in Microsoft. So it will be through Dataverse, I believe, because I haven't done anything like that website development.
Okay, because I just primarily looking for like my application, like I want to have statistics dumped into a DB or an Excel, then maybe I can use this Power BI to produce the reports.
Yes, for you, I think it will be the paginated report. It's a similar kind of development, but for this kind of purposes.
Yes, more looking into that hierarchical report that you have shown, right? So what if like I have that hierarchical report, and if I keep it in the first page, will it update all other filters? Like in the bar chart?
Yes.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah. I think that's good. Thank you, Sreelesh.
Thank you.
Hi, Sreelesh. This is Lima.
Hi.
I do want to ask a question about the shape map we had used in that first page of the report.
Which one?
So shape map you were using on the first page of the report.
Okay.
So I do want to know if we can change, if we are doing the formatting of a report, can we change the background of that shape? That is like by colors or by adding some more features into that shape map. Can we do that? And second question is like, can we localize that shape map? Now you are using the world map, right? We are taking that world map. So if I want to localize that one, if I'm taking a city, if it is a remote city, if we are considering India, if I'm taking a remote city, so if we are considering Kerala and I want a map of Kollam, so a particular place in Kollam, a statistics from that place. So can we do that? How can we just create that type of map or integrate it in the Power BI?
Yeah. So to your first question, can I do the formatting of the shaping, right? Because what I shown, it's the simplest version. You can do much more advanced version of that, and it's highly customizable. And the second question to the maps. So in maps, you might have noticed not only the city name you can map it. There is one thing called the longitude and latitude. So if we have those informations, you can easily configure those maps. And for Kerala and India, so those maps charts are not available, but we have something for Australia, the bigger regions we have it. United States, those kind of individual maps are available in Power BI. But with this, if you have the longitude and latitude informations for that city, you have to use, instead of the city name, the longitude and latitude, and the same reporting you can do it. And if you have only the data for that specific state, you can zoom in for that state. When by default, when you add it, it will be visible only for that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And you can search. Yeah. You can search with the map data, because I will be sharing these informations in the source itself. There are a lot of informations available. So you can specifically search the map chart, and you will get all these informations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And there is one more question. How do we share the reports or dashboard across the different environments like dev or QA production? So in Power BI services, it's actually available now only in the Power BI premium capacity. We have the deployment cycle, deployment life cycle. We can actually develop the report. Once the developed is, we can move that to the testing stage. Once it is tested, we can move to the developed workspaces. People handles this in various ways, but Microsoft is already given this feature as well to take care of the end-to-end report development inside the workspaces as well. But in my organization, what we do, we don't have the premium workspace access for everyone. So what we do, we will create 3 different workspaces. One is for development, one is for testing, another one is it's a production version. So we will just move between the workspaces, and we will publish it separately once it is completed. And if your organization have access to the Power BI premium capacity, this entire product lifecycle, the product development life cycle is managed in that. I hope I have answered that question. And the next one.
Sreelesh, this is
Yes.
Arjun here.
Yes, Arjun.
So a query which I have is like, suppose I have a report published online and I need the data set to be linked as a live connection. That is, as and when the data changes over the database, the necessary visual should be updated on the service. Okay, so assume that the data source is an Azure SQL. So is it possible for such a dynamic connection, or should we be scheduling the refreshes at certain times?
No, not at all. Because we have two options when we import the data, because there are a lot of information. Yeah. One is direct query and another one is live connection. These live connections are actually used with the databases. Okay, you don't have to refresh it or you don't have to schedule it. As and when the change is happening, it will update it. And also you can do the incremental refresh as well. If you are working on a larger databases and every time only the new month data is getting updated, you don't need to refresh your entire data set, right? Only the incremental data you need to refresh it. So a lot of variety of information, sorry, options are available. And also, if you're working with the IoT devices, there is an option in the Power BI services called streaming analytics. Because we work with streaming analytics, we will connect to some of the IoT devices and the data will flow to that Power BI services directly. So it will be updated in every second, on every minute, however you wanted it, you can set that refreshing intervals. So automatically the live data will get connected, even though it's a big data streaming it from various IoT devices. So variety of options are available in that. And to answer to your questions, there we can use the live connection instead of the direct query. Direct query requires a little bit of changes and each one of them has pros and cons. You can explore more about it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And there is a question from Romy. Hi, Sreelesh. I usually work on quarterly project data. It will be collectively from different projects and it will be different tabs of Excel. In a different Excel file, can we consolidate it in Power BI for analysis? Yes, you can automate this entire flow using Power Query. You can read all the files from a folder. You can append between multiple files. You can consolidate all the sheets. So a lot of options are available in Power Query Editor. And once you learn the Power Query Editor, you can save a lot of manual hours. Everything will get automated. And one important thing which I want to mention, this Power Query, the Power BI workflow, actually Microsoft has released in 2010, the first Power tools in Microsoft Excel, that is called Power Pivot. In normal traditional Excel, we can handle only 1 million rows. But using Power Pivot, it's a virtual engine inside Excel. You can handle 25 million, 30 million data inside Excel. Can you believe it? That is called the first Power tool released by Microsoft. Then in 2013, they released one thing called Power Query. That is for the smaller version of the ETL tool. It's not as good as the Databricks or some advanced Python codes and all, but you can do without any codes in Power Query. That is the two different standalone Power applications released by Microsoft. Then in 2015, combine this application together, they released a standalone business intelligence tool called Power BI. Most of the components used in Power BI, if we know how to use the Power Query, the same Power Query, you can use it inside Excel. The same Power Pivot and the data modeling, you can use it in Excel. If you're using the latest Excel version, which is later 2016 or later Professional Plus versions. So a lot of automation scopes are there if you learn it Power BI. You can simultaneously apply the same in Excel as well. If you don't want to share as a Power BI report, you just need to automate some of the tasks. You know the VBA, right? Visual Basic Applications. After 2010, Microsoft has not released any update to the VBA codes. It's slowly fading away. Now the Power tools are taking place. No code or less code. That's the future. In VBA, you have to write a lot of codes to automate smaller tasks. Even after that, a lot of errors will happen. But this Power Query, without even writing a single code, you can automate a process. That is actually used in Power BI also. So if you learn one, you can use it in Excel as well. To answer to your question, Romy, yes, you can easily do that with Power BI. Okay. So
it's already going to be 1. So shall we wind up?
Yeah.
I think Sreelesh is tired. It's more than 2 hours now.
That's fine.
Yeah, so let's conclude, guys. So thanks a lot for attending the session. The data that Sreelesh is going to share with us will be shared to your mail that you used for registration. Okay, so Sreelesh, you'll be sharing it with me, right?
Yes, I will share it with all of you.
Okay, so yeah, so that's it. So thanks, guys, and have a great weekend. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Sreelesh, for your time.
Yeah, there is the last question somebody Anju posted. I will just answer that and we will wind it up. So the question is, I'm using Power Query to refresh a data on a daily basis in Excel. Whenever the refresh happens, the date format gets changed. I have provided option to preserve cell formatting. Is there any option to correct this issue? So is that the column width increases or the date format itself will get changed?
Hi, Sreelesh. This is Anju. Yeah, it's the date format itself getting modified. Like it may become month to day and year, but actually we need date, month, and year. So I mean day, month, and year, but it automatically gets modified.
So the simple thing, you can do the formatting changes in Power Query itself before printing it, or you have to just right click on the table and you will get this option to preserve the cell formatting inside that. After printing it.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Cool. So thank you very much for your time. Have a great day.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.